Welcome to the Fantasy Cycling Podcast, featuring your hosts, Grant Gardner and John Anderson. Chapeau, you're in the mix.
Yo, 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 you're in the mix. We are in the mix with Grant and John for the Fantasy Cycling Podcast. Welcome back.
A rare Friday edition.
We're having a good time.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day. Got a little bike ride in. Grant, you were able to meet us up for the post ride hydration.
Yeah. Banter as well.
And banter. It was good, man.
We were Josh Tarling shout out was requested.
Yeah. We need a Tarling. What did he call it? A Tarling corner?
Yeah.
Tarling. What was it?
It was like 4 minutes. You need give
me 4 minutes on Tarling.
We're not going to give Tarling 4 minutes.
I can't give you 4 minutes on anything.
But Josh Tarling, and then there was a lot. He wanted to talk about Richard Carapaz too. But,
Billy.
Yeah.
Our friend Billy. I don't know why he wanted to talk about Billy. Tarling, he's a hitter. Watch out. I mean, that might lead us to one of our first things we wanted to talk about. Is there a vibe shift brewing?
Yeah.
Is there a generational turn?
I feel this seismic shift.
Are we feeling the beginnings of, and where I'm coming from with this? So we had Liège, Bastogne-Liège, Poggi. And you threw out the stat. Well, it wasn't in Liège where he was the oldest in the top 10. It was another race. It was Flesh. And man, Pog is not showing any cracks, really, on paper.
No.
He looked tired after a couple of these races, as anyone would. And everyone else looked tired too. And he's had a full race program. And he's probably the greatest cyclist of all time. And not discounting any of that. But he's not the young Slovenian prince that he once was.
Yeah.
So I think I'm starting to see these young the Paul Cesas.
Yeah. Or the Tibor Del Grosso.
Dude, Tibor is a menace. Saw him on the grams recently.
Yeah.
Popping a wheelie up on it looked like a Grand Fondo ride that he was there as like the celebrity pro rider.
Yeah.
He was going by the amateur guys that were riding up this hill. It might have been the only hill in Holland. I don't know, but
yeah,
he wheelied the whole way up and was doing like 400 watts, just going by everybody like they were standing still.
Oh yeah, there was all these dentists on super bikes that are just like maxing out their power meters, and he's just strolling by doing a wheelie, probably on a cyclocross bike. Like, it was wild.
And these young lads, man, they're a menace.
I think the biggest young lad right now is Matthew Brennan.
He's a big boy.
Yep.
And there's a long list of them, and they're breathing down the neck of the Galacticos. We're in this era of Pog Jonas, Vanderpool Wout, Remco, and Roglic. And it's almost like you remembered those old Sky days when they were winning everything and Froome was winning everything, and you're like, this is never going to end. These are the Yankees. This is just it.
Yeah.
And then like a vapor, it's gone. And is it going to happen? Is this era going to be gone like a vapor? I've enjoyed, especially on the heels of the Team Sky power meter pacing train days, which in itself was an answer to its previous era. It was a deconstruction of what came before it. And now we've had just hitters that race. I mean, I love Pog because he's a gamer. He will race.
Yeah. And that was the request of the fans during the Chris Froome era was, why doesn't Chris Froome do Liège, Bastogne-Liège, or really any other race besides the Dauphiné and the Tour de France?
Yeah. Because he's lame, that's why.
And he never did those races. And now Pogacar is doing those races. He's even doing Roubaix. And people are complaining that that's happening because he's ruining those races. So
Yeah.
people will never be happy.
It's different. This is different, though.
I think we need to enjoy it while it lasts.
Let's return to our original thought, though. Do you
Yeah.
feel that a little bit in your bones, too?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's not going to be this year. Could it be next year? Could this be this could be the hottest of takes?
Yeah.
Pog will win his last Grand Tour in 2026.
That's a very hot take.
Okay.
But you're looking at the post-race interviews, and Ben Healy, walks up to Pogacar and he's like, "So when are you retiring?" And he's like, "Well, my contract goes till 2030, so maybe look for that year." So
I mean, he's still relatively young,
yeah,
but he started young. I mean, the window for a career is going to be different, and these new riders are really good.
yeah. So I mean, Paul Sextus is 18. Matthew Brennan is
18.
Yeah, Matthew Brennan's 19.
Yeah.
I think Matthew Brennan, his lead out was 20.
Yeah, who was that guy? The little young
Danish name, whatever.
Danish name from Visma.
I think the stars are going to burn really bright, but they're going to burn out quickly. And we're not going to see probably an Alejandro Valverde ever again where they ride until they're 40.
No.
I think 30 is going to be the pretty common retirement age pretty soon.
Yeah. Maybe 2026 is too soon. Maybe it's 2027. But I do think when it happens, we're going to be shocked. I mean, to a degree, we felt it a little bit with, which Roglic is older.
Yeah.
I would say out of that list I just listed off, already in the tent of sus is he's made his bed and is comfortable, and there is Roglic. And listen, the thing about Remco, he's Remco, what did I say before the show started? Remco 3.0. He's had 3 major setback injuries.
Yeah. He crashed at, was it Lombardia in 2020? Crashed into the ravine.
The ravine crash.
Broke his hip.
Yep.
And then he crashed at Zulia last year and broke his collarbone and his scapula.
Yep.
And then he crashed training this winter and broke his collarbone.
Hit the car. Was it the car hit where someone opened up the door?
Yeah, it was the postal service, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's had his fair share of bad luck, and Pogacar's really only had one bad crash.
With the wrist.
Yeah.
So we're on Pog 2.0, and man, what a 2.0 it is.
Yep.
Wow. He's had his setbacks. Van der Poel doesn't seem to have. The thing that Van der Poel has done well is he's focused in on what he's good at. He's matured so much as a racer. So he'll be an interesting one to watch, his arc. And then Jonas is just, I don't know, he's locked up in a fish factory somewhere, in a lab. Just
They got him on ice.
They got him on ice. We don't know, they break him out once a year for the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if he was necessarily going to be that kind of rider before the big crash last year. It was a real shame. Jonas last year leading in, was it Zulia with the big...
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone crashed.
Everyone crashed. Jonas in that race looked scary good. Anyway, just a vibe shift I'm feeling.
Yep.
I'm probably jumping the gun just out of anxiety to say something cool, but I think it's coming.
Keep your ear to the ground.
Yeah.
But speaking of Remco and some of those other guys we've talked about, Romandie. How has your team looked? I heard it's pretty good.
Is it better than yours? That's all that matters.
Yeah, I think it is. So
kind of a fun race. I think we've got a couple of takeaways from it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back through what's happened on the road so far, stage 1 or the prologue that started the race.
Big news in the prologue.
Yep.
The lad.
Sam Watson.
Samuel.
He,
we just need him and we need old Samwise Watson and Pelo Bilbao Baggins in a break, and we're just going to have
an adventure.
And then we're going to have Pog saying, "You shall not pass."
Oh, goodness. There's your Lord of the Ring reference.
Yeah, so big shocker in the prologue.
Because Watson, he was training in Andorra, was like 90 minutes away from home, and the team calls him and is like, "Hey, we need you to get to the airport as soon as possible."
Could you imagine? I'm still waiting to be in like 2.5 hours in the Washington Valley and just get a call.
Yeah.
Say, "Hey, we need you.
We need you to do.
We need you to do a 2-hour lead out at a local gravel race."
Yeah.
Yeah, but he shocked the world in that prologue. I mean, what was it about it? Was the course just kind of,
I think,
aggressive in the turns, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's super short. It's, less than 4 kilometers, and I think his advantage was he had good legs and he wasn't even supposed to be there, so he's just going to go out there and do a crazy good effort, and he's not worried about any kind of performance metrics. He just smashed it and came back and was like, "Oh, oops, I won.
Oops, I just beat the world champion in the time trial."
Yep.
So I think the other big takeaway from Romandie, Grant, is if you look at from a fantasy perspective, should we talk about fantasy?
Yeah.
So from a fantasy perspective, if you go down the top 9 most valuable riders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the top 9 are 400 credits or less. And I think this feeds our narrative a little bit. Like,
yeah,
are we seeing the beginnings of a takeover here? You got Sam Watson. He's at 97 points, 200 credits, 3.6% of users took him, which, dude, kudos to those guys. Matthew Brennan, 65% of users took him. So it's out. The cat's out the bag on that guy. 94 points for him, only 200 credits. Of course, you got Jay Vine and his mustache. He had a big day today in stage 3. Alex Baldin, also 200 credits. Frenchman, 3.8% of users took him, 84 points. Lucky Lorenzo Fortunato, also only 400 credits, 72 points. Remco just chilling. He's not cheap. And then Ivo Oliveira, Ivan Romeo. I mean, the list goes on. And then lastly in 9 is Junior. He is Junior. William Junior Lecerf, sir. 200 credits, 58 points.
A lot of value there.
A lot of value to be found. Let's see who the top user is. Flanagan, love that name. Espanol. So, he's got Almeida, Evenepoel, Brennan, Watson, Martinez, Baldin, Vine, Onley, and Romeo on his team. He's sitting in the top spot right now.
Yeah, sitting in second place, who I've seen a lot on X, is Mosh Bosch.
What up, Mosh Bosch?
He does some pretty good previews, but he dropped down today 1 spot, so maybe he can claw his way back in the last couple stages. But no, I think that's a good point. All of those young guys, 200 credits. Sometimes it's okay to leave points on the table when you're picking your team, or credits on the table. I mean, you went with the Romo.
Oh, I went with the
Romo, where art thou, Romeo?
Yeah, I went with the Romo, where art thou, Romeo strategy, and it's paying off big time. I'm there, Juliet. I mean, I'm not doing all that great. I never do.
But yeah, that pair of young riders for Movistar who have factored into a lot of races this season. This is one of the first races they've raced together.
Mm-hmm.
And there's room for both of them.
Movistar were our shout out for like the decathlon of 2025.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they made quite the noise that decathlon did last year, but
no,
they've been fun. I've got Evenepoel, Almeida, Vlasov, Lenny Boy, Martinez, Brennan, of course. Oh, I just skipped off my page. Romeo, Wampe, and last but not least, Luis Barre, he's on one.
Yep.
He's a hitter. What's your team like? Not as good as mine.
So,
no one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares about my team either. Should we just talk about the Giro? That's what we want to talk about. Go ahead. I'm
John
joking.
is itching to talk about the Giro.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've got Evenepoel, Almeida, Martinez, Bissiger, Brennan, Javine, who won today.
Yeah.
Pablo Castrillo, who
Hat
scored
tip.
0 points so far. Jan Kristen, who DNF'd. And
Sophomore slump for Castrillo.
Yep.
This isn't his second year though as a pro, is it?
No,
but it's kind of like
first in his world tour. Yeah,
it's like watch out for that from a fantasy perspective. When you see someone pop and get hot, that have that first big year, and they get those. It's almost like the who's the guy that disappeared like a ghost?
Mark Padun.
Yes. How did you know?
Yeah.
How did you know? That's what I was talking about. This is good.
So yeah, Mark Padun.
Yeah.
He won like 2 or 3 stages at the Dauphiné and then just disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
a little bit of those kind of vibes going. I don't wish that upon Castrillo. I think maybe he'll have some more staying power than Padun, but watch out for that kind of like that sophomore slump after that first kind of breakout year. We're going to edit this rain out, Grant? It's coming down out there, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't get picked up, but got a little thunderstorm in the background.
Okay, so Giro.
Yeah, you really want to talk about the Giro. So
one of my favorite races.
So of course it's a Grand Tour, which means it's 21 stages. And we will kick off with 3 stages in Albania. The Giro d'Italia likes to have these pretty interesting Grande Partenza, as they call them, or foreign starts. So this year we'll start in Albania. We've seen some pretty zany ones in the past, like they started in Israel, they've started in Hungary. So I'm pretty excited for this. I think it'll be some pretty cool terrain. The first couple of stages look pretty lumpy. Stage 1 has some hills, but should finish in somewhat of a sprint. And then stage 2 is a pretty flat time trial. Stage 3 is going to be another hilly stage with probably a bigger climb in there, but a flat finish. And then we'll hop back into Italy with 3 sprint stages before we start getting into the mountains. Probably the biggest question right now on the mountains is they are going to do the Colla de Finestre, but it was covered in snow as of
every year with this. Will they, won't they on a mountaintop?
So be prepared for maybe some of those really big mountain stages to be cut short or altered, or for us to lose all video footage in the middle of the stage. So that is an option. But yeah, I mean, it's the Giro, one of our favorite races.
What personality would you assign this out of the 3 Grand Tours?
Yeah. So if you look at the 3 Grand Tours, you got the Tour. It's like
the Tour is like
it's corporate, it's business, it's professional.
Yep.
The Giro is like romantic, unreliable,
fun,
like
zany.
It might let you down a little bit, but there's an opportunity for greatness.
Yeah. And the Vuelta is like the karaoke bar where everyone stays till late.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah.
And
they
ate too much
they're trying to do too much is what they're trying to do. The Vuelta is like, we're going to have a sprint stage, but it's actually going to have like 3 category 1 climbs. And they're just pushing. It's like the XFL of like, if like the Tour de France is the NFL, then the Vuelta is the XFL.
Hey, well, speaking of the NFL, who is your Shedeur Sanders of the Giro lineup? Who is your guy? So I don't know. Maybe you're not American and you're listening to this podcast, but Shedeur Sanders was a guy in the draft and
a highly touted prospect that was supposed to go in the first round, one of the top picks.
Ended up going in the 5th round.
Yeah, I mean,
after Trump had a tweet about it.
Yeah, it was like 100. It's like the 150th pick or something instead of the top 10 pick.
Yeah,
and yeah, so
son to the famous ex Pro Bowler and head coach Deion Sanders, hailing from Florida State University. Anyway, yeah, who's your Shedeur Sanders of the Giro lineup?
I think I'm going to say Tom Pidcock. So
why?
And here's my reasoning.
Let's hear.
So the rumors of GC Tom Pidcock they've been there for years. I mean, going all the way back to his Alpe d'Huez victory. Mm-hmm. Like, man, this guy could win a Grand Tour. They signed him. You know, he fell out with Ineos, then Q3 6.5 signed him as their big GC rider. Yeah. Without even knowing if he's going to make it into a Grand Tour roster because they need to get an invite. Yeah. He dominates early in the season with the Alula Tour. There's lots of hype.
A lot of hype.
And then
the vision hasn't been clear for me though, because it was like a little bit of the Ineos thing was like, you're trying to put me in this GC, bucket, and I'm a stage hunter kind of guy. But then he comes over to Q36.5 and it's we want to go for GC. Yeah. But he wouldn't stay. He's going for I don't know. Yeah. I can't get a clear perspective on what the vision is for him.
I won't be participating in the Tour de France this year. Yeah. Because your team wasn't invited. So all that kind of.
Yeah. Kind of like Shedeur.
A little prima donna.
I didn't want to go in the first round anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So I might regret that, but.
We'll probably regret both of our comments on this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead.
But I think there's just a lot of hype around him right now. And there's been hype for a while for his first big GC contest, I guess. And I just don't think it's there. Like, you're tempted to pick him for a lot of those reasons, but then you're like,
Picking Wout for the similar reasons. Yeah. We've heard these whispers of GC Wout. Should he or shouldn't he ride for GC? Van der Poel took a different path, dropped down to that team. It's paid off for him. Wout stuck with Visma. He's got the lifetime contract. Yep. And is he their GC guy?
So they're taking Simon Yates, Olaf Koy, and Wout van Aert.
So what's his role here?
Who knows?
Unclear. I really think they're going to give him a sniff and watch how the form plays out through week 1, and then just trying to hold some backup plan, or maybe he is the backup plan. I don't know. But,
so if he wins stage 1, which I think he could, and he does really well in the time trial on stage 2, he could hold the Mali La Rosa for a while. Okay.
Well,
but I still agree with your take.
Yeah, and my take is he's a Shedeur. I can't say his name. He's a Shedeur Sanders for that reason, and there's a legitimate reason to take him, but when more and more I looked at him, he just kind of dropped further and further down out of my desire to take him. Also, I'm just a complete jerk towards Wout van Aert all year.
Also, to Shedeur Sanders' credit, he hasn't played a single down of NFL football yet, and we don't know if he's good or not.
Nope. Well, cool. Yeah. Hopefully some of our listeners get that reference. But looking at the roster, I think next week we should do our patented level breakdown
by the credit categories.
By category.
You will notice some of these prices have gone up.
Tariffs.
Yeah, it's not because of tariffs or inflation. It's just because every year before each Grand Tour, the game recalibrates what the value of each rider is.
That's all these tariffs are. It's just a little recalibration, Grant. So, I mean, the fun thing to do right now is just to do like our off the hip. I just left the beer ride kind of picks.
Yeah.
I got Pedersen because I'm a Pedersen simp. I got Groves because the guy can navigate a bunch sprint like a boss.
Yep.
And I kind of like the idea of racking up some. I feel like the Giro is where I always get a nice bit of payback for some good. We're really leaning on the sprinter category.
Yep.
Even though it's usually a pretty balanced kind of parkour between mountains, stage hunting, and GC stages and sprint stages. I got the Cat Killer and Bilbao Baggins. Sorry,
Explain who those
Tiberi.
people are.
Tiberi. You were saying though, hold on, pump your brakes on Tiberi. He had a little spill recently in a race.
Yeah, I don't know how severe the injury was, but it wasn't good for his progress towards a GC contention here at the Giro. But I think it was at the Tour of the Alps where he crashed out. So
yeah, I got Bilbao Baggins. And then I've got Arnsman and Tarling. The Ineos wave continues.
Yes.
Let's get zany. Let's see something crazy. We've done 30 seconds on Tarling. I just did 10 more seconds. So we've still got 3.5 more minutes left to do. And then I got Marco Thrigo. He had that really great win at... Where did he
Tour of the Alps?
Tour Alps, yeah. Won a stage.
And is he only 200 credits?
He's cheap. Yep, 200 credits. 18% of users are into him. And then also an old fantasy faithful for me at the 200 credit range is Chris Harper. Dude, the guy can climb.
Yeah.
And he's going to be in the mix on some of these like stage hunting.
Yeah, breakaway
stages, and also could hang around in a top 20 in a GC stage, like the big mountain days.
Yep.
And only 200 credits, so a lot of value there. Look, just off the hip, kind of, I'm going to spend a lot more time thinking about this.
Yeah.
One little observation. I don't know if this is true for you before you get into like who your like kind of gut reaction picks are.
Yeah.
I felt so confident last year picking the Giro, and this year I feel a lot less confident. I don't know why.
I think that's a good thing.
Okay.
I think if you go in with a lot of confidence, then you're just going to be disappointed. But
I felt like my team was pretty good though last year.
If you lack confidence in your team, that maybe means you're taking a little bit of risk, or you're putting yourself out there, and you're picking somebody that is not a highly picked rider.
Yeah.
And that's where your opportunity to succeed is at. So,
thanks, Grant.
I mean, the headline riders for this is you've got Roglic, you've got Ayuso, who will be our GC contenders. We mentioned Van Aert. We've also got Jai Hindley, Adam Yates, Mikel Landa, McNulty, Carapaz, Ciccone, Tiberi, Bilbao, kind of at that second tier. I'd throw Derek G in there as well. Roman Bardet, a little bit of a swan song. Aaronsman. So there is a lot of great potential at that 600 to 800 credit category. We'll get into the details next week, but
details.
It's going to be an interesting race because there is not one of those Galacticos, as you mentioned earlier, of a Pogačar or a Vingegaard or one of those.
One could say, though, the entire UAE team is a Galactico.
Yeah.
Essence of a Galactico team. Their team is stupid good.
Yeah, just looking at the UAE team right now, based off the provisional start list, they've got Ayuso, Arrieta, Baroncini, Del Toro, Micah, McNulty, Vine, Yates. I mean, you've got 4 guys there between Ayuso, McNulty, Vine, and Yates that are serious GC contenders.
But I feel like UAE gets a little bit silly though when Pog's not there.
Yeah.
They don't have their North Star.
If there's no Almeida and there's definitely no Pogačar, then they struggle to have that
coalesce. Yeah.
It's all good thoughts.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
But we'll leave the listeners with a thought of who do you think is going to win stage 1?
that's what you got to think about, I think.
And that's really going to inform how you construct your roster.
Yeah. And are they good at time trialing? Because I mean, like to your point about he's positioned nicely for this Grand Tour, at least for those first 2 stages.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think hit us up on this allows me to do a little bit of housekeeping. Follow us on X or Instagram. The handle is listen2FCP. We're also on YouTube's audio only.
Yep. You
don't want to see our faces. Yeah, give us a follow there and let us know also in the comments, who you like for stage 1 and stage 2.
Yep. we're just going to cheat off the person's paper next to us.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. Yeah. Please tell us who to pick. We're just fans like you guys. This is predicting is hard. And it's part of the fun. And we're just trying to figure this out like you all are. So yeah, we're in the mix with you guys and just trying to learn.
Yep. Really selling it there. But yeah, we'll be back next week with a little more detail.
Is the Giro on our league, our media league?
It is.
Picks?
We got all the Grand Tours and the monuments.
Important. Don't want to miss out on a Grand Tour. You're going to be, if you don't have the Grand Tour, you're going to miss one of those and you're done. Yep. You got to have this one dialed.
This is last chance saloon here.
Yeah, you can't sit it out. You got to get your picks in. Hey, you lose all the races you don't start.
And that's the truth.
All right, Grant. Enjoyed it, buddy.
See ya.